Blog Talk Radio, the world's largest online radio network.
The Craftsman World of DIY Broadcast Network presents the Down and Dirty Radio Show with Frank Fontana.
He's the replacement ref of hardcore construction, and he's going into your eardrums. It's the Down and Dirty with Frank Fontana.
Foul, my friend.
That's
replacement ref.
Yeah, of hardcore construction. I don't know.
Replace your ass in a second. Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Down and Dirty, the show that puts the improv and home improvement by letting you be a part of this show. All sorts of social media platforms we're broadcasting on. Most prominently, blogtalkradio.com/DIY, where we've cracked over 4 million downloads of this crazy little show.
If we had $1 for every crack that we've cracked, 4 million
cracks would be a
download.
lot of Vaseline.
Yeah, that'd be a lot. It'd be a lot. Just letting everybody know that.
Yes, sir. Good day today. We have a big show. All sorts of guests coming from left field, from the world of television and Hollywood.
Oh, my gosh.
We got things like REO Speedwagon.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, what?
What?
Say what? Andy's going, what?
REO Speedwagon.
Well, not
they were on the
really.
radio like yesterday.
Not directly, but we have folks involved in a big charity event that's going to be talking to us in just a little bit. And, you know, from the world of Bachelor on ABC and now on HGTV, we have Chris Lambton going to be joining us via telephone.
That makes sense.
Yeah, totally. You could put two and two together there. Bachelor, Home Improvement. I mean, it makes complete sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
In Manhattan, we have Jake Lingman from Auto Week. We're going to be getting a little sneak peek on 2013 vehicles coming out. I know you're all excited about that, all you gearheads out there.
I'm very excited about it.
You know, I think you lowered my headphones just a wee bit too much.
You know, I did too. Like mine, I can't hear my.
Yeah, that's
you know
much better.
Maybe is it that we don't have enough monitor in our ears? Is that what's going on?
I don't know. TJ's crabby today. Who knows what he's doing back there?
But I don't really.
You can't say too much these days because he could really just fly off.
You know what? I think that might be what it is.
He's overloaded.
No, I think that we can't hear ourselves.
Yeah, it's probably the case.
Oh well.
Well, hopefully we can hear Mike Dickinson and Craftsman Memories today. It's a new segment we're trying out that seems to be really responding well, and it's all about your personal history with Craftsman tools. You know, how have they affected your life in a positive way?
It's true.
You know, it's one of those things you pass down from generation to generation.
Yeah. Like baldness.
Real serious. Yeah.
Nearsightedness, farsightedness.
All that great stuff.
Did we hear that? I think we heard that.
Yeah, but it's I'm doing the social media thing here right now. Peeps are blowing it up, listening to the show live. In Craftsmanship, we're gonna have Rich Kolb joining us from a business called Yardbirds, and this guy makes some pretty sick Yardbirds. What are they? Stick around to find out. You can go to his website though if you want to see a little sneak peek. Yardbirds.info, and they're pretty cool. They're like these little thingamajigs that live in the yard.
In your yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tweet. Whew. Let's say hello to the crew real quick. First up, my sidekick. Back from a little hacienda somewhere.
I was gone.
Honolulu.
I was gone.
Good to see you, Mr. Alex Gending.
It was not well received that I was gone around here.
No.
People were upset.
People were very upset. I mean, there was potential rioting and striking happening. I had to calm everybody down.
Oh, geez. Well, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
It was. I was out of here, so Mike Steven, I guess, was in my place.
Yeah, he did all right.
Yeah, that's what I hear. He does all right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, are you looking to leave the show and get replaced by Mike? I mean, this is Mike's third appearance on the show.
No, I am not looking to leave the show, nor am I looking to get fired from the show.
Right.
Just keep that in mind.
Okay.
No. I'm here to pursue perfection.
I mean, I think I've been here 365 days a year. I mean, I don't think I've ever called in sick, even when I was sick.
Yeah.
I don't just take off, you know?
Well, I wasn't sick. I just wasn't in anywhere, in the proximity of the place. But even when I was gone, this is the first time I've been gone and not called in and actually been on the show.
Right. Even worse.
Oh, is it?
You just kind of dumped us.
It's the first time. It's the first time I haven't been here.
But we got to go back to the old days of getting a good old pair of Craftsman pliers out and keeping them handy. And
we're not. No, we don't need to do that.
We already did manscaping.
We did the ultimate back waxing thing, so I think we're good. Which is getting
apparently some serious ratings on YouTube.
Apparently,
and didn't it really equate into a television appearance on a national show?
The producers of the Steve Harvey Show watch this show.
Nice.
So this is where they steal other guests from, much like
right, and their content ideas.
Yeah, much like Steve Tobias's podcast. I think our old buddy Piff is a podcast now that's taking some of our guests as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think we'll have to have a little podcast off or something.
Maybe. I don't know, but I tell
Piff
you what,
in as a guest. I'd love to roast his ass.
Oh, come on.
That'd be awesome.
I can tell you that the producers of Steve Harvey's show wanted to shave my back.
Yeah.
And when I couldn't do it, I emailed them back and they're like, yeah, well, contact me. We'll do something else. And I contacted them, just being like, whatever else we can do, that'd be great. Yeah. All they're interested in is shaving my back. So
a little freaky.
That's the point I'm at in my career.
Well, at least you're getting calls, man.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, I guess that's the way to look at it.
Let's say hello to the producer over here, Mr. Andy Herman, Sneaky Shady Andy.
What's up, Frank?
What's going on?
Not much.
Hoochie Moochie.
Hoochie Moochie. We're like the Velvet Underground of podcasts.
Yeah.
Everybody who listens to us goes on and does their own podcast.
Yeah. We inspire folks is what we do.
We inspire. We're like the underground influential podcast.
Yeah. But then people will go back and listen to this podcast and be like, I don't see what the big deal is.
Yeah.
They're just doing what everybody else is doing.
We could do it.
We did it first.
Yeah, but we did it first.
We did it first and we do it better. I mean, you can't... Listen, you can buy equipment. You can buy stock, music clips and fart noises.
Piff does know how to use his stuff. He called me about like 11:30.
And what are you doing collaborating with the enemy? Can I ask you that?
Piff is not the enemy. Piff is my good friend.
Yeah, that's true.
And he needed some help. And believe me, he needed some help. He called me. He was like, I got this hiss.
Yeah, well, that's TJ talking, folks. So I want you to welcome TJ for sleeping with the enemy.
So I was...
Ew.
I'm upset about this.
And I also mix Steve Tobias's podcast.
He does.
Good. I'm glad.
He does Steve Tobias.
I'm glad. You're going to hold your mic?
The common thread is me.
Wow. You're going old school.
I just felt like holding my mic.
You got to be like the original broadcasters. You get really excited and
And now Frank Fontana presents TJ Martin. Andy's telling us to wrap up the segment. That's how bad this voice is.
Yeah. You know what? It's time for a little Frank talk.
How about a little Frank talk?
Traitors all around me. What is that quote from Departed with Jack Nicholson?
A rat?
Rats.
Rat.
There's rats. I smell a rat. I smell a rat.
Yeah. Look, it's not me. Don't look at me like I'm some kind of...
Yeah?
I'm some kind of traitor.
Well, listen, those who know me know that I like to support good charity causes when they come around, and this one's really exciting, too, because a friend of mine, Kevin Elodie, who's joining us in studio with Philip Jimenez, who's the president and CEO of San Miguel School in Chicago. You can go to sanmiguelchicago.org right now to check out the school. These guys are literally rock stars. If you want to pop your headphones on, you can hear us probably a little bit better. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you?
Thanks, Frank.
Phillip,
Great
Kevin.
Thanks for having us, buddy.
Yeah, man. So thanks for coming down. I know it's a little trek to the city and all, but...
not as far as yours.
Yeah, right. Not as far as mine, but you're safe and you're here. Now, the reason you're here is, we heard a little rumor that you guys were personally responsible for bringing REO Speedwagon to perform. Is this at the House of Blues?
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. House of Blues.
And this is for a charity event to raise money for the school, right?
Right.
That's right. 100% of the proceeds are going to go to provide scholarships for San Miguel students.
Wow. So what does it take? I mean, somebody's got to know somebody here. I mean, to pull a big band like REO Speedwagon out of, I guess, semi-retirement to come down and play.
Well, they're actually pretty active. But yeah, a good friend of mine, Tim Rosner, who's one of our celebrity co-chairs, is a longtime guy in the rock and roll business. He was cut his teeth at 18 or 19 years old as the tour manager for Muddy Waters.
Wow.
Was with him up until his death, and then he went on to be the tour manager for the bands like Kiss, Aerosmith, Styx, REO Speedwagon, Journey, bands. Cheap Trick. I mean, he's been there, done it all. In fact, you may be familiar with the Eric Clapton Crossroads event that he puts on every couple of years.
Right.
Tim is the guy they call here to put that whole thing together here, the stage manager and tour, production manager. So Tim knows a bunch of guys, and I know a couple of guys. JOI, James Young from Styx is a friend, and so they played 2 years ago. Cheap Trick was last year.
Really? TJ, are you getting excited yet?
Yeah, it's a great event, and quite frankly, all these guys in the bands, when you get to know them, they understand what the thing is about. They're they're all about
So
it.
tell us what this thing is about, really.
Yeah, before I get into that, Frank, I want to just mention, Kevin is a very modest guy. He's the co-creator of this event. And over the past 5 years, it's generated $2 million for San Miguel and for the students. So for all of you out there listening, the 4 million listeners, and so round of applause because his efforts and those of the committee and all that.
Yes, Mr. Kevin Elodie, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, he's turning
Forget about
red.
REO Speedwagon.
I love it. Yeah.
Would you ever see his Facebook page? I mean, I don't know if his kids hijack it, but like they put things like old farts on them and stuff like that.
Well,
I always laugh when I scan through. I'm like, oh god, his kids hijacked his Facebook page again.
Yeah. No, but it's a great listen. One of the things that people really love about this event, it is not your typical chicken dinner kind of thing.
Yeah.
People get out there 6 o'clock VIP. For those of you who want the VIP tickets, we're going to have Ryan Silver.
I'm assuming it's not quite a family event, or is it?
Oh no, it's a full-blown
rock
open
concert.
to the public.
It's a rock concert,
but a fun.
You find it's a lot of the parents of the students that come down and check this out, or are you getting general public that just want to come see REO Speedwagon?
We get a great mix. The parents and the families are there volunteering all night long, so they're definitely vested. We get a lot of our supporters throughout the year, and this is sort of one of those great events in the city of Chicago that's kind of annually people kind of bookmark it on their calendar. We're going to have probably 700 to 800 folks filling up the House of Blues that night, and our goal is to raise around $500,000 that night.
That's great. What are ticket prices going for?
Ticket prices, VIP ticket prices are $300, and that includes the Ryan Silver VIP show. There'll be a special performance in between before the REO show, and then the REO show starts off right around 9 o'clock. The general admission tickets, those start at 7:30 p.m., and that's $125 a ticket.
That's reasonable.
And it includes food, all you can drink.
Oh, so for $125, you're getting the whole
show,
kit and caboodle.
Food, and drink all day.
I mean, if you go out one night in Chicago at any club, you're spending that on drinks.
That's
right. Forget about concert. If you go to a restaurant, you're spending that on a couple of drinks and a dinner.
Right.
So that's a
very
great
reasonable.
little deal.
I want to know more about the San Miguel School itself, just because there's, the state of schools in general is not doing too hot. You walk in any classroom and they're almost having to double stack the desks, so there's 2 levels. There's a lot of places that it's like 45 to 1 teacher ratio, and I'm seeing here that it's a 9 to 1 student ratio.
That's right.
At the San Miguel School. But just talk more about what the school is, what you guys do, and how important it is to these kids.
Sure. We started 17 years ago, 1995, and the founders, Brother Ed and Brother Gordon at the time, really identified Back of the Yards as a community that was devastated by the needs and really an under-resourced community. What we did, in essence, is we put together a program that begins with a middle school, and you add to that a graduate support component, which follows our students through high school, and then we have a family services component. At the end of the day, what we're really thinking about is it has to be a small teacher-student ratio, and it's about relationships, the real relationship with the student to make them feel confident that they can learn. In essence, our role is to bring out that child's gift that they have. We believe this very simple idea. Parents want their kids to succeed. Students want to be successful. Our teachers want their students to succeed. So we don't have that adversarial kind of that you're seeing everywhere else right now. It's really about let's come together for the benefit of that student.
And this is a private school.
It's a private school. And here's the great part. We knew that economy or the economics was going to be a barrier for these families to have a private education. We provide this education at $75 cost to the family per month. We raised, so Chicagoland and all of our funders and sponsors and folks like Kevin, they raised 95% of our operational budget.
Wow. Now, Kevin, your kids are older.
Yeah.
How did they go to the school, or did you just?
No.
How'd you get involved?
A friend of mine who I coached basketball against as a longtime volunteer, and I'd see him at the hot dog joint. He'd say, "Hey, you got to come down and check out the school. I'm helping, string computers for." And I'd say, "Sure, and go look the other one." And 5 years later, he'd see me again, and, "Hey, come on, we're opening a second school. You got to take a look at this thing." So, the short story is, I beat him again in the big championship game, and he came marching over to the bench and said, "I'm going to be in your driveway at 10 o'clock on Tuesday. You're going to come down and take a look at this darn school."
Wow.
So I went down, and I think like a lot of us that are fortunate, have had some success in life and all that. We all get hit up to do things. I'm sure you do all the time. And it's kind of easy in some ways to write a check and just say, "Okay, well here,
Right."
And I had left my business. I'd retired. I was kind of on the sidelines, and I went down. And the thing that struck me about the school, and Phil didn't mention it, but one of the things about the school is that it gives preference to kids who are failing in their current boundary school, and to families that are living kind of at or below the poverty line.
This isn't, just to be clear, this is not a posh
this is the
private school.
It's the opposite of that.
Wow.
And if you think about what private schools started out to be, were schools for working class kids and all that kind of stuff during the whole immigration and all that back in the 30s and 40s and all that, and then it kind of became this. I don't want to say elitist, but it became a very higher end, expensive thing, and so it actually became the opposite of what it started out to be. So the founders of this said, we got to go back to the roots here and provide this to the kids most at risk, most in need. So when I went down and saw it, it was just like now this makes sense, you know, because it's one thing to write. My kids went to private school. And I wrote checks and tuition checks and all that stuff. And here's these kids that could really use this. And I thought, well, this is a place where I can move the needle and make a difference. So that was what got me.
I mean, folks, listen to this guy. I mean, how could you not love him? I mean, it's truly. There's people who talk the talk, but there's guys who walk the walk. And Kevin is one of those guys. And glad to call him a friend. And so just in wrapping it up here, where can everybody find out more information about how to get tickets to the event and how to support the school, whether they can make it to the concert or not?
Sure. www.sanmiguelrocks.org. Everything's on there. And just a last tidbit, our graduation rates are 92% high school graduation rates. Nationally, they're 78%. Citywide, depending on who you're asking, they're 56 or 60%. And again, we give preference to those students who are really underachieving at the time. So very proud of our students, very proud of our faculty and our staff, and a big round of applause also to our board of directors and all of you who are listening. Take a look at the website, come out if you can. If not, buy a raffle ticket. Tiffany's are giving out some great items stuff. And so on. So
cool. Yeah. Sounds great, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Great luck with it all, and I know I'll be there for sure. It sounds like a fun time. And once again, folks, make sure you go to the website. It's, again, sanmiguelrocks.org, or you can go to their other website for the school, sanmiguelchicago.org, and find out more about the school. Guys, thanks so much, and good luck with everything.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Frank.
You're welcome. It's time to bring it.
Bring it.
All right, so it's time to pick up the phone here and find out how one goes from The Bachelor to HGTV. And joining us on the phone is Chris Lambton from...
hey, how you doing, man?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Not too bad. What do you mean? It's not a logical transition from The Bachelorette to HGTV landscaping?
I mean, it could be. I guess in this world of media today, who the hell knows, what happens. But listen, dude, kudos to you. I mean, I know it's a fantastic... It's one thing to be known as kind of this... guy who gets chicks on television as versus an expert on television who's known for dishing out great tips on how to improve your home. Which one do you like better?
I definitely like talking about dirt and plants a lot more than girls, man.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Girls suck.
Yeah, they're easier to talk to, the plants and rocks.
Well,
yeah, the plants don't talk back.
No, they don't.
Well, I mean, I have to say that because I'm married now. I can't talk about girls anymore. I can only talk about one girl.
What do you think? I'm stupid, man? I'm married too, and we know the game. So tell us about the transition, man. So you got the gig on The Bachelor. Let's just talk about that for a second. What is it really like in the house?
Oh man, it's like it was like a 2-month-long bachelor party. You're in the house 24 hours a day with whole group of guys, and most of them are really fun, and a lot of them are still my really close friends. And there's no TVs, there's no media of any sort, so there's no internet, there's nothing. So the only thing you do all day is just sit around, tell stories, and drink. That's literally all you do.
Now, what about one of these scenes where you see these guys get into fights and stuff because this one said that, or he's not true to the Bachelorette? And is that real, or are these guys really just playing it up?
You know what? I think some guys just play it up so they get a little bit more airtime. But luckily enough, the crew that I was with, the guys were just pretty laid back, and they were like, "Oh yeah, good luck on your date tonight," and even though you're dating the same girl, it was kind of weird. But we were all just kind of laid back guys, and
I mean, was it weird? Like
what we were doing there.
One night, one guy's making out with her, and then you're like, oh God, dude, I gotta like kiss this chick the next day. I mean, those are the things I think about when I'm watching it. I'm like, God, that guy just made out with her, then this guy's gonna make out with her. But I mean, at the end of the day, whatever. Listen, it got you in front of millions of people, and ultimately landed you this gig with HGTV. Tell us how that happened and about the new show.
Well, it was kind of weird because I actually got the gig on The Bachelorette through landscaping. I was landscaping for a lady the next town over, and we redid her whole backyard. And that whole week, she was like, "Oh, you should be on this show I watch. I watched this Bachelorette show." I was like, "Whatever, lady." And she took my picture and sent it in. So landscaping got me onto The Bachelorette.
Cool.
Oddly enough. And then the ladies at the HGTV office watched The Bachelorette, and they said, you know, this guy's actually a landscaper. He might be good to get on HGTV. So weird how it works, but
well, let me ask you this: you're not the first Bachelor to be on HGTV. Bachelor Bob apparently had a show briefly, or a special. Do you talk to Bob at all?
And actually, Chris Harrison started off on HGTV.
That's right.
The host.
You're right. Exactly.
Yeah. So there's a long line of Bachelorette to HGTV. I've actually never met Bob. I know some of my other friends have, and he's a character. So yeah, I can see how he'd make that step because he's a funny guy.
Yeah, but you know what? He's not like you. Like, you know, the difference between a guy who's on television who does stuff versus a guy who's a talent expert and can seriously in the real world put a room together or design some landscaping that'll really blow people's mind. I don't know, man. It's like, to me, I'm an HGTV cat too. I love, you know, the network. It's great, you know, but at the same time, you know, when you're dealing with the rest of the world, because you got now a split image. You got the guy he was from the Batch. So now, when you do these interviews like this one, and then you got some jerk off host saying, "Well, tell me what it's like to kiss, you know, the girl," and it's got to kind of like at some point you got to separate yourself, right, and be like, "Listen, I'm now this guy." Do you feel like that?
I feel like that, but at the same time, I have to embrace it because if it wasn't for this Bachelorette show and people being like, "Oh yeah, you know, I saw you on TV," then I would never have this chance to do what I do every day. I've been a landscaper, you know, I've been doing it since middle school. You know, every summer I was a landscaper. I worked for my dad and worked for other landscape companies. So if I didn't have the opportunity to be on TV through The Bachelorette, I'd never have a chance to now have this HGTV show. So it's kind of like one of those things where I have to be like, you know, if it wasn't for this, I would never have the opportunity to be on Going Yard, you know. So.
Sounds good. Yeah.
I got to hit the rewind button just a second here because you were talking about how you were working on somebody's lawn and some lady says to you, "Oh, you should be on TV and do The Bachelor." Sounds to me like I'm just wondering here, and this isn't me pointing fingers. This is a curious question here. Since you're doing landscaping, you must be at home during business hours with some females. Are you
Desperate Housewives?
Did you dabble in the pool boy activities, so to speak, or do you still?
Prior to your marriage.
Kind of sounds like it's in the DNA a little bit.
I'm not going to lie. It was a hot week that week, and you know, when it's hot week, take your shirt off. You know, what are you going to do?
Listen, man.
Come on.
Work what your mama gave you.
There's got to be more to it than that. Have you not at least had like some kind of close call while you're working out there in the heat and somebody asks to come in for some lemonade?
Lemonade.
Oh, you know, there's definitely been some times where, you know, you get the job based on, you know, because you're young and kind of good looking, and it tends to get a little weird.
Yeah. Oh, it's just gotten weird. It's not gotten good. It's just gotten weird.
He's married now, Alex.
No, because usually it's not like a 22-year-old, like, you know.
Yeah, it's a 300-pound bonbon-eating monster sitting on the sofa going, "Ooh, you want some of that?"
Different people are into different things.
Yeah, I know, but you're in Cape Cod, right? Your business?
Yeah, Cape Cod.
I mean, there's some pretty. I mean, that's a good demographic. You don't really see. I mean, a lot of Republicans, I would imagine, though. I mean,
yeah,
right.
But you know what? I would say that Republicans and conservatives are more infidelituous than others.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about this. Let's switch gears here for a second. Going Yard. Explain to me the name because I'm having a hard time wrapping my tongue around it.
Yeah. All right. So Going Yard. It's got a couple different meanings. One, I'm big into sports. Grew up playing everything, cheering on every single Boston team I could, and And going yard, it's a term for, hitting one out of the park, hitting a home run.
Okay. So you're Yankees fans, what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. God, no. Come on, man. Red Sox Nation, even though we're terrible this year.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. So I got the sports innuendo to it. And then I figured going yard, like going to the yard, like working on the yard. I got that whole thing. Did you come up with that name, or did HGTV come up with that name?
We worked together for a while on it, and it's one of those things where when you go into the yard, you want to hit a home run in everyone's backyard. You want to knock it out of the park.
Right.
So it was just kind of like a logical, transition from the fact that I love sports and we're doing yard work, and it was just, we came up with it, and we're like, oh, this could actually work. I kind of like it, and I was like,
So let me ask you this: the cute blonde that you have working with you, is that your wife, or is that the assistant that they put you up with?
That cute blonde is now my wife as of 5 months ago.
So wait, did you meet on the show?
No, she was. All right, so she was actually on The Bachelor like 6 years ago, and we met at a charity event a couple years ago, and as soon as we saw each other, that was it.
Wow.
See, I never believed in those stories, but I guess it's true.
No, man.
I was pretty much forced to marry my wife. I mean, I love her and stuff, but shotgun certainly helped that decision.
Yeah, no, I knew with mine.
Yeah.
But it was a Halloween party, and she was wearing a very revealing costume. So
yeah.
See, that's love at first sight as well. Just different kind of sight.
Different kind of love,
it's different.
Too. hey, so Chris, tell me, how is it working with your wife?
It's a lot of fun. She deals with the style, where I deal with all like the hardscaping, softscaping. So
wait, is she listening right now by chance?
No, she's actually not here right now, so I can say whatever. But,
yeah, let's talk real man stuff. It's got to get tough. I mean,
Well, she's not there that much in the yard, because a lot of when we're doing a show in the yard, for like the whole week, she's there for maybe like 6 hours, like at the very end and the very beginning. But the rest of the time, it's just me and the boys, me and my brothers. 2 of my groomsmen are on my staff, and it's just all my friends.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
We're in the backyard, and it's like a boys' club, man. It's so much fun. It's not even like work.
Well, you're actually, in terms of the network, you're on a good network. I mean, I enjoyed my time on HGTV, and we'll talk off camera about all the bad side of it, but the reality of having a show like that you're surrounded by your friends and family and people that you trust and is a great thing. At the same time, you're filling a void on HGTV that fans have been clamoring about for years. Was where is the garden portion of home and garden television?
Oh man, I say that all the time. It's like they should just change the name from HGTV to HTV. There's no gardening.
No, to RTV, real estate television. It's no longer design shows anymore. It's all about house hunters and real estate shows. I think that your show could really hit a mark and accord with some folks out there, because they're really have been looking for, at least the fans that I know and bump into when I do appearances and stuff like that. What's that, Alex?
No, I was just saying, because our segments are limited. I just want to get this out before we have to wrap or anything. I want some relevance here. Seasons are winding down. We're heading toward winter. Can you just pop off some quick tips on what people can do to prepare their yard and garden for winter?
Well, let's do this. Let's break it up into regions, because Chicago is freaking cold in the winter, and LA's coldest is usually 60 or 70, and then New York is so let's start with LA, and then we'll move across the country.
What
was the question again, Alex? Or should we just narrow it down to Chicago?
Just narrow it down to life.
Yeah, because I like to plant. I like to plant trees, but I have a big, huge like Venetian patio that's phenomenal, and I want to put trees out there. Potted plants, but I'm so afraid of pulling the trigger on stuff, and I'm just not good with plants. Although I do have a money tree that has died and come back in the recent couple months, and I wonder what that means. Do you know anything about that, Chris?
That's good to hear, man.
Yeah?
I have trouble with the money trees. They don't grow as well for me as they should.
What are you saying about your contract negotiation? Because I know how that could be with HGTV. No, so give me an example of a good tree, a potted plant that will last me through the winter outside. if any?
Wait, so where's your climate again? Where do you live?
We're talking Chicago. We're talking winters that get damn cold. Usually float around the 0 mark for a good couple months. And I just don't know of any tree that could survive that kind of climate.
Fir tree.
Fir?
I was going to say, yeah, something that, maybe like a Leland cypress or something like that. That way you could at least, put some lights on that thing and call it a holiday tree at the same time.
Wow. Hey, I like your thinking.
What about a cypress hill tree?
Cypress hill tree would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, a Leland cypress hill tree.
Yeah, that would be great. But like none of the exotics, right? I can't get any kind of palm trees to live throughout the winter, right?
Well, I mean, I have on my back porch right now, I have a lemon tree, and then I take it in for the winter because obviously, in the Northeast, my climate's very similar to Chicago. It would die out there. So, and then I do the same thing with herbs. I have a big pot of herbs outside, and then in the winter I bring it in so I can still have my rosemary and my basil in the winter. But if you're gonna have a potted plant outside on your patio, it's got to be really hardy.
Alex has problems with his herb plants. He can't seem to get them to grow properly.
No.
Why is that, Alex?
I don't know. Cilantro just ate it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah. That was the one. Basil did fine. Cilantro, nothing. It's gone now. Strawberries, too. I'm having a hard time with the strawberries.
Yeah, you're quite the little urban farmer, aren't you?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I freaking love it.
I actually started using woolly pockets this year in my house because I wanted to have some herbs inside in the winter, and my herbs are going crazy in those woolly pocket things, man. I never
You
used
need one of those, Alex.
You saying woolly pockets? Because that sounds like some sort of vaudeville character.
It's woolly pocket, ladies and gentlemen.
Woolly pocket. No. If you Google that, you'll see what it is. It looks it looks like a back pocket of a pair of jeans, and you put some plants in there, and you can hang it on your wall. And
I've seen those. Like people kind of use. They also use. They'll buy those. Drape shoe storage things that you hang in a closet and on a door, and kind of do the same principle.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So what can fans of landscaping HGTV look forward to in the first couple episodes of your show, and when does it start airing?
So we finished season 1 has already aired, and right now we are halfway done taping season 2 here on the Cape, and it's going really well so far. I mean, I think you'll see a lot of cool things. We've done some really funky pergolas. We did a great outdoor kitchen with a pizza oven.
So you guys do the paving and all that stuff too? Hold on, I'm being fed.
I do all, it's amazing. I actually sweat, man. I do a lot of work on these shows, and not just. I don't walk in the backyard and be like, "Oh, great job, everybody! All right, I'll see you later. I'm gonna go sit in my trailer." I don't have a trailer. Wow. I just work.
Dude, I'm like you, man. You got to get your hands dirty. I mean, all these like fluffy hosts that don't do anything. It's like, come on,
Believe me. I mean, I was born working. My dad made me start working when I was 12. He was like, you have to start working. And I've been doing it ever since.
And look where you ended up, man. It's like, dude, who would have thought, A, you'd be on The Bachelor, and B, now you have your own show on HGTV. And what's next? You going to think about writing some books and stuff, too?
Ah, man, you know what? No. My dad published a poetry book. I'll let him deal with the books. I'm not I was a math and chemistry major, so I'm not an English. I'm not good with words.
So your measurements really good then, huh?
Exactly. Like I'll do some Pythagorean theorem all day long, but
right.
You start asking me to start writing, forget it.
That's funny. Well, Chris, you know what? Thanks so much for calling in. You seem like a great guy, and we wish you the best on the show, and thanks for playing along. You can go visit the website, hgtv.com/goingyard, and visit Chris's personal website, Chris Lambton, that's with a LAMBTON.com. And Chris has all sorts of topless photos of himself working in the yard that you can download for free.
Oh, God, yeah. And that was a nice picture you found for Twitter, man.
Hey, man, I was just digging.
Damn that Google.
Is that one from the house, right?
That was one from like the very end. That was after I got dumped, so that was nice to relive that memory.
I got to just ask you, did you cry in the limousine?
No. I never cried.
Good for you, man. Those guys who leave the house and cry.
I've been dumped before. Like, you just say, you know what, forget it. On to the next one.
Exactly. There's plenty of fish out there.
Plenty of Jamaican jerk fish.
Lots of Jamaican jerk. All right, Chris, thanks a lot. And, keep in touch, man. We'll have you back on the show.
Oh, man, I would love it. You guys have been great to talk to, and have a good day, and good luck with that outdoor plant you got going. And good luck with the cilantro next year.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We'll keep you updated on Alex's cilantro dilemma. All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, folks, it's time for a little Manland.
Welcome to Manland.
So good.
Yeah. Good stuff, huh?
Oh, my gosh.
We just got a little treat here. We had our resident chef, Carrie, come in and give us some, what was that? Tilapia?
That was Jamaican jerk. I don't know if it was tilapia. I hate tilapia, by the way.
That was a really clean-tasting fish. So I'm going to guess, if I was to guess, it would be either a swordfish. I don't know, but Andy, can you find out what kind of fish that was?
That was white.
It was a white
so
fish.
So it could have been tilapia.
It could be tilapia or swordfish. Anyway.
I don't know.
Let's talk cars.
All right.
Enough fish. We got Jake Lingman on the phone from Auto Week, returning guest. Jake, how are you?
Good. How you doing, guys?
Pretty good, man. Sorry for the fish talk, but our resident chef here just came in and stuffed us with some kind of deliciously tasting fish.
Great.
And now we're trying to figure out what it is.
Jamaican jerk something.
Boy, I'm not a big fish fan, so I would be no help on that.
No.
What?
No, but that's okay. But you are a big car fan.
Yes.
Tell us what's going on in the world of 2013 model cars, because we got people clamoring to find out what's coming out this year.
Well, we got lots of stuff going on. I'm going to start with Tesla. We got some Jaguar news, and then the Paris Motor Show, which is later this week, which will have lots of 2013 cars coming out.
Excellent.
Wow. So Tesla, tell me about the brand first of all, because you see I think they're starting to run these funky commercials, and I like the brand. I like the band Tesla from the 80s. I think they have no affiliation, but I do like the band.
Yeah.
Can you name a song?
No
Alex?
affiliation with the band Tesla. Okay, CEO Elon Musk, younger guy, brilliant younger guy. Could be the next, I don't know, could be the next Steve Jobs or something crazy
That's
like that.
That's a big statement.
It is a big statement. He's got a lot of stuff going on. So, okay, he's got these two cars, the Tesla Roadster and the Tesla Model S, which is a sedan. He just unveiled on Monday these solar-powered charging stations that are so far throughout California, but within, I think he said, 2 years, they'll be covering about 75% of the country. And these are supercharging charging stations. So you can take your Tesla Model S and drive from L.A. to San Francisco or even Lake Tahoe without using an ounce of gasoline.
Wow. So does it have a backup gasoline tank?
No, the Tesla does not have a backup gasoline tank. The hybrids, which is like the Priuses and the Chevy Volts of the world, those have a gasoline and an electric motor. These are just electric battery-powered cars.
Wow. And now, so this guy is obviously a green guy. Like, he wants to make this, because, let's face it, the whole electric car movement hasn't necessarily boomed. Would you agree with that?
And, yeah, we've just seen that the Volt sales are lower than they expected, and they're actually increasing the rebates on those. But these are good cars, and besides just the gas thing, it's just a lower amount of moving parts, less stuff to fix after 10 years.
Yeah, I like the idea, man. If I knew there was a charging station everywhere I needed one, I'd get one of these, because they're cool looking too, aren't they?
Yeah, they're definitely cool looking, and these are supercharged, so it's about 4 times as fast as your in-house outlet. So it'll take maybe a half hour to give you 200 more miles of range, which is a short meal or stop for a gas and pee break, and you're good to go.
Now these solar panels, do they happen to be from a solar panel company called Solar City?
They do. They do.
Why do you know this?
And which also happens to be, Elon Musk's sister company that he either owns part of or has something to do with.
There we are. He's the chairman of Solar City.
Somebody's Googling away here.
And SpaceX,
Very nice.
Which you probably heard a little bit
So
about
who is
that.
this guy, though? Like, is he like a Richard Brandt type of guy?
He's the founder of PayPal.
Sort of. He made his money in PayPal, I believe, and then he started up this car company, and he also works on what's called SpaceX, which is a private spaceflight company.
I love innovation
so he's got
like that.
big things going on. Yeah, big things going on. I know. I believe he's working with the U.S. government to do some space flights for cargo and stuff like that. And eventually, it's going to be private space flights for consumers to go to the moon and stuff.
So
like
he
that.
doesn't necessarily have to make money, is what you're saying.
No, he is definitely wealthy enough. In fact, I believe I just read that they're going to lose about $800 million this year, but that's okay. That's okay.
It's probably a write-off
They just started
for him.
the car company, so who knows?
Yeah.
All right. So what else are we going to look forward to aside from Tesla?
All right, we got the new Jaguar F-Type. Now, this is going to be the spiritual successor to the E-Type, which you may remember from Mad Men or from the 60s, depending on how old you are.
Yeah. I'm not, but I do know what you're talking about.
This is going to be a V8-powered, smaller car, actually supercharged V6 or V8. It's going to have the same basic shape as the XK, which is right now, which is the really like sleek, coupe-looking one.
Yeah.
But a little bit smaller and rear-wheel drive to compete with the, the Porsches and the BMW Z4s of the world.
The Z4 stuff, really? Interesting.
Yeah, small coupe.
How is that market going for the Z? I used to own a Z3 when it first came out, and I loved my car. It just was so tiny.
Yeah, they're tiny rear-wheel drive and manual transmission, which is great, which is the perfect enthusiast car. That's what you want. Short wheelbase, rear-wheel drive, manual transmission. That's all you need.
The stigma attached to Jaguar in recent years has always been like it's a great shell with General Motors parts kind of thing. Is that changing? Is the engineering different now with these new models?
Yeah, the engineering is different. I don't believe they use a ton of GM parts anymore. They're owned by their own separate company, and the last ones that we've had have worked perfectly. And the new designer over there, Ian Callum, who's probably been there for maybe 5 years now, has penned these new beautiful, the XF, the XK, and the XJ, which is the big one.
Now, moving on, because Porsche is coming out with something that really the first time I heard about it was on Chevy Malibus, and it's kind of cheaping the Porsche name for me a little bit, and that's the electric steering.
Yeah, that's funny you said that, because I actually just drove the new 911 like 2 or 3 days ago, and I was sadly underwhelmed with it because it still has short wheelbase, rear-wheel drive, manual transmission, all the good stuff, but this electric power steering where you can't really feel the road in your hands like you like to. Probably on your Z3, you could feel the road in your hands on the steering wheel.
Right. Well, that's interesting.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah,
I grew up loving the 911. Like everyone would be like, "Oh my, I love a Ferrari when I grew up. I love a Lamborghini." I was always a 911 fan, and that just disappoints me to hear that.
Yeah, no, and it's great. It's great for like something if you're buying your family sedan or wagon, and it's a Chevy Malibu, but a Porsche.
Well, to me, Porsche kind of took this weird turn with all like the Porsche family wagon, the Porsche truck, the Ford. It's like, did they really need to go in that arena?
Well, I think, making 1 or 2 cars, as Tesla will say, is not very profitable. But if you make 4 or 5 or 6, including an SUV and something a little bigger, then it gets a little more profitable. They sold a ton of those Cayenne trucks, Porsche did.
Yeah.
And the new Panamera, which is the big one, the sort of wagon, shooting brake looking one, they sold a ton of those too. So, people that love Porsches and maybe own a 911 or 2 would probably move to the, the SUV and the wagon.
That's true. Yeah. I guess brand loyalty. All right, so let's talk Boss Mustang and Camaro 1LE.
Oh, yeah. Okay, these are two more great cars. Now, these are kind of the middle models in both the lineups. The Camaro SS, the 1LE is like a step above the Camaro SS, and the Boss is a step above the Mustang GT. Both are lower than the top of the line models, which is the Camaro ZL1 and the Mustang GT 500. So the Boss has 444 horsepower. The Camaro, I believe, is around 425, but with better suspension and all that stuff. So these are extra fun cars, and the Boss in particular, lightweight, just the right amount of horsepower, a tad bit more than the GT, better suspension, extremely fun to drive, and they come in some wacky wild colors, orange and green and yellow and stuff like that.
So real quick before we're getting the wrap-up sign here, but I was a owner of a 68 Camaro SS, midnight blue, Krager chrome rims, chromed out 350 engine, I think it was, 325. For a guy who has that kind of appreciation and nostalgia for a 68 Camaro, if I hop behind the wheel of this new Camaro, am I going to get that sense back?
Well, now I've never driven a 68, 69 Camaro SS, but
Beast.
I've been in the ZL1 and the 1LE, and I'd like to imagine that this is how you guys felt back in those days. Like, that's what it feels like. But really, this Camaro, the top-of-line Camaro is 580 horsepower. So that's possibly double what was in the 68 or something like that.
Well, I can tell you that the feeling was the vibration under your butt and that sound of power under your foot. To me, the
sound is still unbelievable. You don't get as much vibration in the butt anymore because most people don't like that. But the sound is still fantastic. And if you ever get your hands on one of these, I suggest finding the nearest expressway tunnel, rolling down the windows, and flooring it.
Yeah, sounds like my kind of day right there. Jake, thanks so much for calling, and we appreciate it. Check out this and more at autoweek.com. Jake is associate editor over there and a good friend of the show. Thanks, Jake, and we'll have you back on soon.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
You got it. All right, it's time for some Craftsman memories. All right, folks, this is the time of the show where we talk about what's America building, and what's inspiring them to do it, and hopefully it's Craftsman tools. On the phone, we have Mike Dickinson. Mike, how are you?
Oh, doing good, man.
Good to have you on. Now, we were supposed to have you on a couple weeks ago, but apparently you got pulled into a hurricane.
Yeah, we didn't get hit directly, but we definitely got a lot of rain, so we had to make sure, houses didn't flood and clear the yard and all that kind of good mess just in case.
Well, that's good to hear that you're safe and you guys didn't get directly hit by Hurricane Isaac. Now, tell us about your Craftsman memory.
I guess it starts back probably, like I said, I guess I was 7 or 8 years old when we bought a pack of tools for my dad, really, and I think we bought some add-ons, including the 3/8 flex head ratchet. And man, we've used it on everything. We grew up, working on cars and pretty much anything you can use a ratchet on. My dad used to race with buddies of his, but pretty much every project we worked on, especially cars, we used that ratchet throughout the years. And it ended up getting passed down to me when I got a little bit older and out of high school, and he bought me a rollaway, with the top mount and the bottom storage unit.
Oh, yeah.
And that was one of the tools he passed down to me. So I'm still using it today. I actually used it a couple days ago again.
Isn't that awesome? I mean, tools to me are something that is a memorabilia piece. I have similar stories of tools my dad had that he handed down, and I still use them today. And it's so awesome to hear that you are, such a big fan and keep this tool in your life, because I believe, like I just said, it probably has a little bit more meaning than just a tool for you.
Oh, certainly, man. You even just setting it up, take a snapshot yesterday, you see all the banged up edges on it, and you remember busting a few knuckles, sticking it under, to unbolt the transmission, or just things like that.
Yeah, we actually have some pictures of the ratchet up on our live stream feed right now, and it's pretty fun, awesome. Man. That's cool. What kind of projects you working on? You working on a restoration car at all?
No, not right now, although I'd like to. I had more fun when I was younger. We had a lot more project vehicles, but I got a 2-year-old now, so a lot of time devoted to her. But definitely car maintenance, and she likes to hand me tools.
Nice. And I love the rollaway car, too. I mean, you can fit a lot of tools in that thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've had that since high school. It was actually used when I got it, and it still works great. So.
Well, Mike, I hope you got room for one more tool in here, because we're going to send you, for your love of Craftsman and your participation today, we're going to send you a Craftsman Hammerhead Auto Hammer, which, if you don't know what it is, it's pretty freaking amazing tool. It replaces traditional hammers, and it could basically, in 3 seconds, put a nail into a wall. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that is awesome, man. I really appreciate it.
Hey, man, we appreciate you supporting Craftsman and getting the fact that it's more than a tool and it's a part of American history. And we salute you for that, Mike. And I'm going to put you back on with Andy, our producer, who's going to get your information, and we'll get you out one of these auto hammers right away.
Mm-hmm. Sounds great, man. Thank you.
All right, Mike. Thanks for calling in. It's time for Craftsmanship.
It's all about craftsmanship.
That's right. It is all about craftsmanship. And today we're talking about Yardbirds with Rich Kolb. Rich, how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Tell us about Yardbirds.
Well, Yardbirds are pretty simple. They're animals, or dogs, cats, critters, and birds made out of as much scrap, discontinued, overrun parts that I can find, and I can find quite a bit of them with the invention of the internet. You can just put out the word, and I have people in line wanting to sell me scrap.
Well, you definitely caught the eye of our producer, because he came back ranting and raving about how excited he was to see these Yardbirds. And we're going to actually pop a picture up right now on a live stream, and I could see why. They're pretty... you think if I was just to say the word Yardbird and Rich makes them, it'd be like, oh, okay, it's probably some little thing. Then you look at the picture, and it's these really badass, cool-looking designs that are showstoppers, in my opinion.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. They what's important about when you make a Yardbird is two things. You want to give them character, and also you want it to make eye contact with the customer. Those are very important. If you have a Yardbird just looking down at the ground, it's not as appealing. So we try to make a connection between the customer and the Yardbird, because once a customer buys one, they end up becoming a family member for quite some time.
And in terms of your materials, I'm seeing a lot of metal use. How did you get started in that realm of craftsmanship?
Well, my father and I started this 22 years ago in Jamestown, Kentucky, and he used to be a small business owner, and they used to manufacture metal farm gates. So my dad has had a history of being a small business owner, also was around a lot of welding, a lot of fabrication, so he was instrumental in helping get this off the ground because he had a lot of the knowledge. And he tells me the story, he kind of thought up the first one was he used to employ welders, and they manufacture farm gates, and they got paid per gate. Well, on their spare time, they would make odd different animals, funny-looking chairs, and what have you. And that kind of caught his eye, and when he got out of the gate business, we just kind of found ourselves in the Yardbird business.
That's interesting. And when you say a farm gate, explain to us the difference between a farm gate and any old gate.
Well, a farm gate obviously is used on a farm. Decades ago, they used to really only make wood gates. And then they started making metal farm gates down in Jamestown, Kentucky. Pretty much south central Kentucky is the gate capital of the world. Two things are famous for, that and houseboats.
Houseboats,
and that's farm gates. You just see them, just look at any farm, you'll see metal gates.
Do you guys ever use some of the old ones, recycle the metal and put them into the Yardbirds?
Well, we don't use gates, but we use a lot of recycled metal. I got just not too long ago, I got, I think it's maybe 15,000 pounds of some round rod that was in a fire, and I use it daily, and I got a really good deal on that.
Wow, that's great. Now, where does your inspiration come from? Because there's so many odd objects and cool designs on here. To me, it seems like you'd be either scanning the internet late at night for some fun ideas, or just seeing nature and what is your core inspiration?
Well, there's so many animals out there, so many insects, so many bugs that you can even invent an insect if you want. But I tell you, interesting stories where I get some of my ideas is I have a 7-year-old son, and I read to him quite often at night. And a lot of these books that I read to him will have interesting characters, a different type of bugs. And then what I'll do is I'll bring the book to work, and we'll come up with some kind of some kind of interesting bug that somebody has created in their mind and put on paper.
I think that's brilliant. I mean, the ability to translate that into reality, into your reality, is cool. And they're not typical. It's not like you're going to see this little basset hound looking dog. It's this funky looking, like I'm looking at the dog tray one right now, which is pretty cool. It's got all these whiskers and stuff. That looks like it takes quite a bit of time. How long does one of these projects take? Like, let's take the dog bowl, for instance, with the
It's not so much the welding that takes a long time. It's the fabricating. If you take a look at that, just imagine everything has to be cut and bent and punched and sized and bent to the specifications. So it's more in the fabricating, and I would think that would probably take to weld maybe 5 to 10 minutes or so.
That's it.
And some of the more popular items, I'll do more than one of. Like my best-selling item, believe it or not, is a little small snake made of bicycle chain. Well, I won't make one snake. If we're going to make snakes, you're talking about 50 to 100 of them.
Okay. Now that's including the grinding and do you seal them up afterwards?
No, that's just the welding. The fabricating, you probably add another 15 minutes to half an hour on the fabricating. But the trick is, don't just make one of them. Make 3 or 4, 5, 6, 10 of them.
Right. Now, Rich, let's talk tools. What does your shop look like?
Well, it's an organized mess.
I like it.
One of the challenges is I'm kind of somewhat of a neat person, but it is a challenge to try to keep all these scrap parts and discontinued parts organized and remember where they are. Because a lot of times I'll buy more parts than I need. It's just part of such a good deal I can't refuse it. So the shop has a lot of interesting parts around. Of course, there's samples of every Yardbird that we've ever done, so we don't forget the specifications.
And you're not using any giant CNC machines, are you?
No. We have just a small plasma cutter, and then we have a little punch press and a metal saw and a band saw. So it don't need a whole lot. Now, some of the parts that we use a lot of, that I will have those punched at another place.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you got to work smart, not harder. Because I mean, if you don't have any of the big machinery, a lot of stuff you're doing is truly artisan style work. And folks, I definitely encourage you to go check out yardbirds.info. Is that the website, yardbirds.info?
That is correct.
And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised because explaining it on radio does it no justice. If you want to head on over to live stream right now, we are floating some images up. It's pretty cool. The link for live stream is, Alex.
Oh my gosh, we don't know.
bit.ly/TJ
bit.ly.com/DD radio. Is that really that hard?
Yes.
It is. Yeah, it is.
When you're doing a whole show.
Well, you want to do the real link is new.livestream.com/craftsman/DD radio.
Wow.
So I think Andy did you a solid by making it shorter.
He did.
In other words, we're going to make it difficult to watch.
Yeah, in other words, head on over to any one of those links to catch some of the images of Yardbirds.
I want to talk about the book.
Yeah, let's talk about the book.
It's a Yardbirds book.
There's a Yardbird book? Tell us about it, Rich.
Yes, I thought, well, like I told you earlier, reading these children's books to my son and my little girl when she was younger, I thought, well, wouldn't it be pretty cool to have make a little cartoon out of the Yardbirds and incorporate the real-life images of the Yardbirds into the children's book. So basically, it's a story of recycling and the adventure of Rosie the dog and how she is made and recycling new friends.
That's awesome, and all inspired by your actual work with real Yardbirds, right?
That's right. There's a lot of information at my fingertips in a children's book.
God, man, this guy is a renaissance man of Yardbirds. Not just an artisan, he's a renaissance man. Rich, thank you so much for joining us and calling in. Great work. Keep it up. We'd love to maybe sample some of your stuff. Send us one of your easy yard. Maybe the snake would be cool. We'll put him on our radio desk here and pay tribute to Rich every show.
Hey, I'd love to, Andy. Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. All right. Have yourself a great day. If I could count how many times people call me Andy, I don't get it.
Oh, he was doing good.
Yeah, he was doing great until the last second.
Down and Dirty with Frank Fontana. Hey, I might be gone next week.
Okay.
I just found out a Hong Kong tycoon has offered $65 million as a marriage bounty to any man who can win the heart of his lesbian daughter.
Count me in for that one, too. I won't be here next week either.
Yeah.
I think my wife would understand that.
Do a Hong Kong special. Hey, dude, different area codes.
Hey, I love that,
Different hemispheres.
I like that. Yeah. I think we should fly to Hong Kong, do a whole live remote, and the whole show will be based on can we flip the switch.
That's a good Bachelor episode. That's
a great Bachelor episode. That was a great episode of Down and Dirty, as a matter of fact. You can catch the show every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time right here on blogtalkradio.com/DIY. You can also catch the live stream feed here at bit.ly/D&D radio.
Yeah.
And thank all my special guests today, Philip Yemenides and Kevin Elodie for the School Rocks program. You guys got to go support that. You can go see REO Speedwagon if you want. I know TJ's excited about that. Bring It, Chris Lambton. Turned out to be a fun guy. He's got the new show on HGTV, Going Yard. He's a former Bachelor star. And Alex has a man crush now.
Oh, come on.
And then Jake Lingman from Auto Week, real nice guy, talking about 2013 cars. Look out for those Camaros and Mustangs. They got a lot of beef under the hood. And Mike Dickinson and Rich Kolb. Thank you guys for calling in. I'm Frank Fontana. Check me out on my website, frankfontana.net. And Alex has got his website up yet?
That's my weekend project. That's what I'm going to be working on.
Let's start a pool of when Alex will actually get his website back up. Oh, and we'll send you an auto hammer if you guess it right.
Oh, I like that.
All right, sound good?
Okay.
All right, folks, I'm Frank Fontana. Reminding you, if your hands ain't dirty, you did do it yourself. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Craftsman World of DIY Broadcast Network.
Blog Talk Radio, where millions of hosts and listeners gather.